Joining us now is Isaac Gifford from Nebraska. Isaac, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
How about that? Back-to-back man crushes.
Mine or yours?
Well, Coach Rule was yours. I get Ike.
That's true. That's true. We appreciate you joining us here. How's the experience so far?
No, it's fun. It's a great stadium. It's pretty cool to see all the teams here.
You're the perfect guy to ask because this seems like it's an opposite of your personality.
Yeah,
You're blue collar, basic, get in, get out, do work.
Yeah, no, this is not my thing. You know, when they asked me, I was like, what really? Okay, sure, I'll go do it. You know, it's quite the opportunity, so I can't turn that down.
Were they asking you, or were they asking you?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, Coach Rule texted me. He's like, "Hey, you want to come do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He was like, "You sound so happy." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, sure, I'll go do it."
What does he expect from your personality?
I know. I'm like, what do you want from me? Seriously, what do you want from me?
To be fair, the very first thing he said to us was sarcastically, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to do media for 8 hours."
Yeah,
I don't think you and him are on terribly different pages about being here.
And he's been doing it a lot longer than I have.
For sure.
So it's cool, man. You didn't have to come back. You didn't have to be here. You got unfinished business, man.
Yeah.
I know your personality. How are you controlling it until you actually get out there?
It's tough. You know how I am. You've known me since high school. It's not easy. You know, I got to really focus on myself and my craft, and also my teammates and the team. You know, so it's just, you know, keeping my mind locked in on what's going on in the building and keeping outside distractions, you know, out of my head.
Well, I'm probably going to be a distraction, so I apologize in advance. But how much of you deciding to come back was being a Nebraska kid and wanting to see this thing through and being part of a team that at least started to bring Nebraska back to where we all feel like it should be?
Yeah, no, that was a big thing for me. You know, I watched my brother, you know, think they were going to come back with Coach Frost after their first year, and then he left. And then it didn't really go the way they wanted it to, you know. So having Coach Rule this first year and thinking we're all right, we got this foundation, you know, I didn't want to leave and watch it go to waste. You know, it was a big part of me was like, I want to stay here another year and make sure we have that strong foundation and we continue to build on it. So
I tell people, you know, sometimes you don't always see the equivalent to what I think you are physically. You're going to be a great tester, explosive, high jumper, broad jumper, good speed. How much of that, the other part was, you got unfinished business, but your trajectory is still going up too, right? So why not have some good teachers for one more year?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, it just having another year of working out with Coach Campbell and that strength staff, and having all those coaches that have been great to me so far, it's just going to make me even better. And it's exciting. You know, I've learned a lot in just the year I've stayed. So it's going to be a fun year.
I'm a big strength and conditioning nerd, so you got to talk to me about Coach Campbell a little bit. It seems like the things that him and the nutrition staff with Kristen Coggins, and it seems like what they do is incredible. Whether you hear Coach Knighton talk about Jamari Butler putting on 25 pounds, whether it's them navigating Nash cutting 50 pounds to go wrestle and then adding 20 back to be a nice lean polar bear this year. Talk about kind of what they do for you guys and how effective it's been as you've seen guys' bodies and then testing numbers change as a result.
Yeah, you know, obviously it starts with nutrition, and Kristen, she's the best I've ever seen in her profession. She is so great about making sure everybody is eating what they need to be eating, you know, having a plan laid out for them. She works her butt off, and it shows. I mean, and she is on our butt all the time.
How much of it is you guys have some similarities, right? Very direct. You don't mince words.
Yeah.
It's because you care.
Yeah.
But the standard is the standard.
The standard's the standard, and that nutrition is the freaking standard. You know, if you're not meeting that standard, you're going to hear it. So, you know, they do a great job.
I told a story one time you were at practice and you kind of took over a drill, right? Do it like this.
Yeah.
No, not like this. Hey, like this. And you allowed your defensive backs coach at the time to go through the first couple. Then you took over. How much of you assuming the role of leadership was dictated versus it just felt right?
Yeah, you know, I think it's both. You know, it's the coaches trusting me, knowing that they trust me and they trust my judgment. that makes me more confident in leading the group. And then also just I've always had that sense of I'm not a BS guy. You know that. You're right. You guys know that. And so when things aren't going the way I want it to go, I'm like, listen, this is how to do it. This is how you're supposed to do it. Do it. You know, I don't mess around with that kind of stuff.
You know, it reminds me of something that Coach Rule's talked about before, where like he sets the standard and then he holds you accountable to the standard, whether it's him or the staff or whoever, right? And then you guys take ownership of that standard, right? Like that sounds like what you're talking about is when you just jump in kind of unprompted and are like, nope, this is how we're supposed to be doing this. Yeah. Like that's the ownership part, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it all comes down to the players at the end of the day, right? We're the ones on the field. Yeah. So the most important people to hold that standard is us players.
Yeah, I think you come by it honestly. I remember just going back to high school, I saw your dad. There was a triangular going on in hoops at Millard North, and I was leaving as he was coming, and he was going up the bleachers, and we were just talking about your recruitment. And even listening to him, he wasn't loud, but you could feel intensity.
Yeah,
he didn't mince words. Like that behavior's been modeled because I mean Luke's actually kind of the nice guy, which is weird.
You know, he got
it maybe have skipped it.
All of my mom,
but everybody else is just kind of like
we're assholes. I mean, that's what we are. We're Irish. We got Irish in us. I mean, if you met the rest of my family or my dad's side, you would see it. You'd be like, oh, all right, makes sense. You come to a family dinner. There's arguments, you know, it's loud, you know, it's, I definitely get it from my dad. You know, he's an intense person.
What are you expecting from this defense? I think we took what you guys did last year, maybe for granted. It played at a high level.
Yep.
And the film is out.
Yep.
But so are the adjustments too. Right. You're a year in, so you're a year smarter.
Right.
Advantage you guys?
No, yeah, you know, it's both. It could be both, right? Because we know what teams have seen from last year, right? So we got to make our own adjustments, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see how teams come out and play us again, you know, after last year. But we'll be ready for it. We'll have changes of our own.
You like any of those young guys in the secondary?
Oh yeah, I do. You know, if I don't say his name, I think you'll get a little bit upset with me. But you know, I love Caleb Benning. He's awesome. He's awesome. He's been working his butt off. And then some of those young freshmen have been great, you know, Thomas and a couple other guys, and just the guys from last year, you know, Rex Guthrie, he's another
You guys give him a hard time about his hair?
Oh, yeah, all the time. All the time.
Man, you guys dubbed him Sexy Rexy. I'm like, I don't know if he can take it.
I think he loves it. He's a quiet guy, too, but I think deep down he loves it. So.
How tempted are you to pull that back up into the pony?
Oh, God, you know, I cut it a little bit ago in preparation for this week, so I don't even know how much I can pull it up. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
I mean, listen, if an old guy like me can rock the man bun, so can you.
Oh, right. That's true.
And how do you like the offense? You feeling good about?
Oh, yeah.
Did you allow yourself to fall into the got to hold up your end of it? It's hard.
Oh,
right?
It is definitely. We're like, wow, we really need to hold up our end, because the stuff they're showing and this whole summer, I sit there and I watch it. I'm like, these guys they got it. They got it this year. You know, our wide receiver core is probably the best I've played at since I've been at Nebraska. So it's exciting to watch them work this summer.
So as you look back kind of at your career at Nebraska, as we just got about a minute left here with you, what differences do you see about how you were when you were a freshman coming in and this class that you've seen that Coach Rule brought in this year?
There's a lot of speed in this class. You know, I'm not saying our class wasn't like that, but there's some athletes in this class that's brought in. Not saying there wasn't in mine, but there's also a lot of guys that aren't here that were in my class, right? And I haven't seen a guy leave yet. So I think there's a lot of loyalty in these freshman classes that have been coming in here. That's why we have 150 guys on the roster, right? Guys aren't leaving, and they want to play here. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the biggest changes I've seen in these younger groups coming in and compared to mine.
What would year 4 or 5 Ike tell year 1 Ike?
Oh God, sheesh. I mean, me, it's just taking care of my freaking body, for year one, I'm like, I go in there gun ho, I'm lifting twice a day, trying to do all this stuff, to make the older guys like me. And now I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to go get in that cold tub and just sitting there for a little bit. I need the rest, Well,
you look fantastic, man. You like the new body type?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Well, and the suit's looking good too.
Yeah. Thank you.